For GCSE Psychology, the only assessments you have are 2 exams at the end of Year 11, and those exams equate to 50% each. There's no coursework, there's no exams throughout the other years, there's only 2 official exams at the end of Year 11. In Year 9, you will look at memory, perception and research methods. In memory, we look at the different types of memory, how much capacity each type has, and how the memory works together. For perception, we look at optical illusions, we look at depth, we look at perception, how we perceive things in a different way to other people, whether that's to do with our culture, and how our kind of eyes work to be able to see depth, and how our brain works with our eyes to interpret what we're seeing. And then we look at research methods, which is how research is conducted and how we then analyse our research to find out whether we've actually found something significant or not. In Year 10, we look at development, social influence and language, thought and communication. So development is how as humans we develop. Not necessarily physically, but more within our brains. So we look at when morality starts to develop. We look at empathy, when you can start to see things from other people's points of views. For social influence, we look at how people can commit negative acts towards other people. For example, the Nazis, we look at how explanations for potentially their behaviour. We look at positive behaviour, so when people are pro-social, and we also look at crowd behaviour, why people act differently in a crowd than they would when they're an individual. For language, thought and communication, we look at how language has developed. We look at how our thoughts and our language work together, and we also look at historical and cultural differences within language and how we can communicate. We also look at non-verbal communication, so that's things like eye contact, body language, personal space, and how they all form our communication with other people as well as comparing human and animal communication. In Year 11, we look at brain and neuropsychology. So this is how our brains are made. So we look at how messages are sent from different areas of our brain, and then how those messages are then sent to our body to then form our behaviour. And psychological problems is where we look at depression and addiction. So for each one, we look at how they are characterised, so what are the characteristics of depression and addiction, and what are the different theories for treatment of these psychological problems. Studying GCSE psychology, not only will you learn the theories and the concept we look at, but you will also learn key skills that are needed. So you'll learn how to critically analyse the research we're looking at. So that could be looking at how relevant it is in today's society. It could be using other pieces of research to compare or support the research or the theory that you are looking at. And these are key skills that you're going to need to learn for your further studies. You'll also learn how to embrace and understand other people, and potentially you'll be able to understand your own behaviours and actions as well. And you'll be able to do this through using research to support your ideas, but it also gives you an opportunity to voice any issues you've found with other people's research as well. To be successful in GCSE psychology, first of all, you have to have an interest and a passion for psychology. Any area, that's fine, but you have to have an interest in psychology and how people behave. You need to be willing to do your own research. You need to be able to, in your spare time, go onto the internet, read some books, watch some documentaries about different psychological theories. And you need to be able to put in the work that is needed. You need to be able to work hard and want to do well. As mentioned previously, a large part of psychology is being able to analyse other people's research. So you need to be able to have that skill where you can look at someone's research and see the benefits and the issues with it. You need to be able to work independently at home and in lesson. You're going to need to be able to complete work yourself and complete additional work. And you need to be enthusiastic. You need to be able to get involved with the lesson. You need to have a passion for the subject and for what you're learning. As psychology looks at human behaviour, it really opens doors to any area or any career you have an interest in. There are obviously the obvious ones of a psychologist, a counsellor going into psychological research, but from the list you can see there's also a large range of other jobs you can go into. You can go into teaching, healthcare, social work, media, business, sport. You can become a sports psychologist. Psychology really can be transferred and related to many different areas and many different careers.